A program is a set of instructions to be executed by the computer to accomplish a particular task. It is a multi-step process involving identification and definition of a problem. While writing a program, one has to take care of data which the program will process and then generate information. The programming process is a set of activities that are carried out to develop and implement a computer program. It begins with the user, who has to identify his need and define it clearly. The user best understands his own need. The user initiates the first activity. This may sound very elementary, but in its absence, a lot of confusion can take place. A software expert comes over to the user's actual workplace and understands how the department works. The software expert is also known as a system analyst. The system analyst's job is to understand the problem, examine the data, plan the output, identify the process to convert input to output. Understanding the problem involves the system analyst having talks with the user and cross-checking the problem explained to him. Examine the data involves studying the manually maintained data. The system analyst tracks the movement of data in the total information flow. If required, the user supplies the necessary facts and figures. Plan the output ensures that nothing is omitted from the program. The system analyst gives a clear-cut picture of what the program is trying to achieve and how, by identifying the process. System study report is the report submitted by the analyst after the study of the system. Missed operations, if any, can be pointed out by the user. Changes can be made easily at this stage. The system is broken into a number of steps that ensure the clarity of the logic. Each and every step has to be clearly identified. Important tools like algorithms and pseudocodes must be used. Once the algorithm is developed, its correctness is checked. Correctness of an algorithm or a program can be checked by any one of the following methods: dry run, independent inspection, structured walkthrough. The next stage is to convert the algorithm into an actual computer program. This involves choosing the right programming language and using the right grammar of the chosen language. The user plays no role in this stage. The problem statement is divided into three categories: input data, output data, the logical processing of this data, including all calculations. Coding a program involves writing it in a particular computer language. Code can first be written on paper, or it can be written directly on the computer using an editor. Writing code on paper first is often useful because it reduces the number of errors made when writing the code on the computer. This practice is particularly useful for novice programmers. The code's logic and syntax have to be checked to ensure that they are free of errors. Desk checking means manually checking the code for errors on paper. It usually uncovers a number of errors that can be corrected before the code is compiled. In some cases, programmers review each other's code. This process encourages good programming and double-checks the code for errors. The programmers need to fix the errors and then try to compile the code again. Editors are programs that allow programmers to type programs directly into the computer. Unlike word processors, editors don't allow words to wrap onto the next line. This is because word wrapping could cause problems in the program code. There are two types of editor: line editors and full screen editors. Line editors predate full screen editors. They allow only one line of code to be edited at a time. The line that will be edited must be specified by the programmer. Two popular line editors available today are VI for Visual, a Unix-based editor, and Edlin for Edit Lines, an MS-DOS-based editor. Word processors can be used to write code. Because word processor documents contain formatting information that can create errors in the code, program files have to be saved as text only or ASCII files. These files contain only the text that is typed and nothing else. Full screen editors are much more easier to use than line editors. This is because they allow the programmer to edit any line at any time. Additionally, they provide a number of techniques to make editing the code easier. Editing code in a full-screen editor is made easier with pull-down menus, the ability to move to and edit any line on screen, integration with compilers and interpreters, colored text, and IntelliSense. Full-screen editors make commands available via pull-down menus, which means that the programmer doesn't have to memorize them. Integrating program compilers and interpreters with editors offer major advantages. Code can be typed, edited, compiled, or interpreted and run from within the same program. This is unlike line editors, where each function is performed by a separate program. A source file contains the code written by the programmer. Computers can execute instructions only in machine language, so the source files cannot be executed directly. They need to be converted into machine language files, which are executable. A compiler or interpreter is used to convert program codes into machine language. A compiler converts a source file into an intermediate file and then into an executable file. The intermediate file is called an object file or object code file. The object file contains a translation of the program code in machine language, but it is not a complete program yet. A linker carries out any final processing on the program, and the resulting program is ready for execution as it is an executable file. An executable file is complete in itself and does not need to refer to the original source code. This means that the executable file runs quickly. An interpreter translates program code into machine language and executes each statement as it is translated. This process can slow down a program significantly. It is important that code should be readable and understandable in order to maintain it. For this reason, comments can be written into the code. Comments are remarks that are not read by the computer but are intended for the programmer. Comments provide explanatory notes to the programmer about the function or specific parts of the program code. Comments are placed between opening and closing tags, such as \** and */ in C. The computer ignores everything in comment. Once the coding is complete, compile the code into machine code. Compilation means converting the source code into machine code, which is the language the machine understands. Compilation results in certain kinds of errors that are indicated by the computer. These errors have to be corrected and then the program is recompiled. The process continues till the program is error-free. The three types of errors that are normally encountered are syntax, logical, and execution. Syntax errors. They occur when a computer language compiler cannot understand the command entered by the programmer. When such an error is encountered, the compiler rejects the program and flashes an error message. These errors are very easy to correct. Execution errors. They are encountered after error-free compilation at the time of execution of the program. Execution errors are also known as runtime errors. Logical errors are due to mistakes made by the programmer while coding the program. The line of code conforms to the necessary rules of the language. In this case, the code is based on logic that is flawed. Because logical errors are less obvious than syntax errors, programs can be compiled or be interpreted without reporting this type of error. The computer does not identify these errors. To correct these errors, we have to go through the algorithm of the program. Most of these errors can be eliminated by properly designing the program. Debugging is the process of identifying the root cause of an error and correcting it. It contrasts with testing, which is the process of detecting the error initially. When all is right, the program can be released and set to work on live data. First, both the manual system and the computerized system run together. In case of discrepancy, it provides a further check to locate and remove it. People working with it get a feel of the computer. This is called parallel run. The manual system is stopped when the organization gets confident. Documentation or a written procedure of how to run the program, enter the data, etc. is handed over. Documentation enables the individuals to understand the logic of the program. It also includes troubleshooting tips. System audit is to check whether the computerized system has been able to meet the objectives set in the need definition. It clearly reveals the shortcomings of the computerized system and identifies the true reason.